Hello everyone, Simon here from the Whales of Wall Street. Today's video is Veracity VRA on the exchange. Before we go into a bit more detail, do check out our other videos as well. We cover a multitude of different projects, different scenarios going on in the world. So do check them out. It would be massively appreciated. And you can also learn about various different things across the blockchain and crypto sphere. Now we've got that out of the way, let's go to Veracity. So guys, if you haven't watched it yet already, 2 days ago, there's a really cool AMA or Q&A if you like, introducing Dan Hodgson, the Director of Business Development now of Veracity. So it was really cool to see two people from Veracity coming together. So we have Elliot Hill, who's, I would say recently, maybe the last few months ago, was appointed, essentially kind of like the head of communication and marketing, if you like. And what I really love about this, guys, is, well, first of all, the engagement and the viewership on this kind of thing is really cool to see. And unlike a lot of other projects, I always find that people aren't really that transparent. You maybe see like pictures of them and maybe like text format of interviews or conversations. I think it's like really refreshing when you have like faces on video. It's funny I'm saying this when I don't have my face on the video right now. To be fair, I would normally, but one of the lights has gone out in the lounge, and actually I'm really lazy. I haven't replaced the bulb yet, so it's actually like still proper dark in here. So maybe I'll go on Amazon after this and order one and get my face back on there. But yeah, in general, I always feel like there's a bit more trust and a bit more personality about what you're investing in as well. I think for me, Veracity is a really top project. We know about its ad stack, technology, and especially with its partnerships like with Bright Cove, even its partnerships with massive platforms out there. For example, we already know they work closely with the likes of Google. Obviously, YouTube are part of Google, and of course, likes of Twitch as well. So I will reiterate, there's two really exciting avenues that I'm interested in with Veracity and the way it's going. One is, of course, just the general viewership aspect of utilizing these platforms. The other is gaming. For me, being a gamer, history of esports, partnerships, and I'm involved with Web3 gaming right now. I know the magnitude of this market and how many people watch game streams and things like this. We're talking about 700 plus million people are watching game streams. Isn't that an amazing number? That's incredible, and that's going to continue to grow. We have 2 billion plus gamers worldwide now as well, 2.5 maybe, approaching sort of 2.7, and it's really intriguing to me because people don't sometimes see the bigger picture, the longer term picture. They just look at the prices and they think, oh, maybe Veracity's dead because of its price point. Just look beyond that. We're so early in this still. We've had some good runs with Veracity, especially towards the end of last year. And yes, it has come down like the rest of the market has as well. But Veracity's not going anywhere, trust me. I know a couple of the people there, literally talk to them quite regularly, and things are always on the up with them, and I absolutely love it as a project. And like I said, not just with gaming, the other areas as well, this proof of view mechanism, potentially helping as well the likes of Twitter in the future, removing bots, removing fake views, and getting more authentication in what we see online, and also from a streamer's perspective or someone that's publishing, making sure that they get the correct revenues moving forward as well. So as I said, it's really early still, in my opinion. It's going to have a lot more uptake in the near future, and you must look ahead. You must look at all these different markets that it's involved with and see the progression of this, not just from trending, but the amount of people that are utilizing these kind of projects, or indeed technologies and platforms moving forward. So those out there as well, of course, the staking is still available via the VRA wallet. If you'd like a video on how to do that, do let me know in the comments below, and I'll happily put that one together for you guys. I have actually put some in finally a few weeks back. I think it's a good time. I think in these bear markets, it is a good time to be accumulating rewards on things that simply aren't really moving price-wise in the market. It's obviously not have gigantic fluctuations up or down at this moment in time. So it's a perfect opportunity to do that. And they do have really good APY still on there too. So I just thought I'd reiterate those quick points. Of course, we're going into the chart right now as well and look at where Veracity is and my thoughts and feelings about my accumulation patterns over the last few weeks, and also what I'm doing more recently in this week as well. So here we are with the chart on our screen. Of course, please do not forget as well to make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done so already, please do, because obviously you get notified of all the smashing videos we have coming away. And of course, we're aiming towards 10,000 now. It went a bit slow because I reduced the videos for a while because of work and stuff, but wow, it flies up, and I'm really grateful for everyone's comments, and I love people's opinions and thoughts on projects, on the videos, everything. So do make sure you do that as well. I always answer every single comment on all these videos. If you don't believe me, go and check. Maybe I've missed the last few days, but for sure I always come to them eventually. So here's the chart, guys, for Veracity. Currently floating, I moved it up, there we go, fourth of a cent. For those that are listening rather than watching, 0.0046 we are floating around right now. Now this is pretty much the bottom of the bottom for Veracity right now. We haven't seen these particular prices since March 2021, and before them the lower prices of 0.003, where we hadn't seen that since the beginning of 2021. If you want to go back further than that to the January, was 0.0008. That is crazy. So we've actually gone massively high points with Veracity in the big bull runs. And isn't it funny? We take these areas for granted when we look back at them, because we hit highs here of nearly 9 cents, guys. We've gone from January 2021. We've gone from around, in fact, it might have been less than that. For January? Really? Okay, 0.0009 to 9 cents. And just to reiterate what that means, that's pretty crazy. That is a jump of 15,500% in that bull run that took us to November, in the space of what, 11 months, 10 months. That is crazy. And now since November, obviously hadn't hit the year point yet, but we have had pretty much a drop down of 94%. This, in my mind, is a very lucrative area to be accumulating, in my opinion, and it has been indeed what I have been doing over the last few weeks in a DCA format. DCA, dollar cost averaging, is essentially the strategy of buying not immediately or straight away when you get paid and stuff, but working your buy-ins as time goes by, because you don't know where the bottoms are, you don't know where the highs are. All you can do is just go, right, I'm happy with these points anyway. If it comes down lower, I'll buy some more there, and lower and lower. And that's the same on the upward trend as well, in terms of the selling DCA pattern also. If you remember in the last video, we drew these 3 circles. This is kind of like the pattern that I felt like we were coming towards. Could we come lower than we are right now today? I do think this is possible. I think there's a couple of things that will signify that. Obviously, what happens with Bitcoin, I do still, in the back of my mind, think that this could come down to a 15 or 12,000k mark of Bitcoin. And if that happens, that's not to say all the projects will completely follow suit, but it does indeed drag the markets down, because everyone's psychological aspect kicks in, and then the prices come down because people sell in fear and sell because they're like, can't be bothered anymore, this, that, and the other. Now, I think personally Veracity is a really strong bottom point here. As I said, it's now matching an area back that we saw here. But the reasons I drew these areas in below as well is also because of historic data. If you look back in time, as I said, around this February 2021 mark was a really big, interesting area where we saw a lot of movement. I'm just going to zoom in here. See this? This is basically a failing of a rejection, and we shot up. Loads of different announcements came out, and it just went up and up and up. But arguably where we are right now, which is 0.004, which is basically where this red line is on the marker, between that point, guys, and this point, there's no support. This is not support. This is literally just a blip. We're talking about like less than a month's worth of a chart history there, and including here is 2 months. So for me, if this area breaks, and I do think Veracity has some strength here because it's a top project, people believe in it, the volumes are still coming in, which we'll go on to in a second. But I still think that if we have the macro events continuing around the world, bills are going up and all this stuff, it could break this barrier. We've tested it once already back here on the 13th of June. And now 3 or 4 days in a row, we've been hitting this area. It's really testing the ground, guys. So do think about it. If you have been buying in this area, fantastic. I think it's a great price point compared to the future price point of Veracity, 100%. But also think about the things that may be coming in the near future, and identify some buy points in the lower regions as well, particularly off the back of rounded numbers. Like at the moment, for example, 0.0046, very close to the 4.5 mark, right? But for me as well, I'd be looking at like the 0.0042 and slightly below those areas as well. And that's why we've got the blue markers here. So I'm very intrigued in these areas. In fact, to make it clearer, guys, I'm just going to draw in some horizontal lines here of where I'm actually physically putting my buy orders in. So it's not fully accurate, but I know for a fact that I've got one around about here in this 4.2 mark. I've got one around 3.7 something. I think I've just call it 3.7 to be honest, to be easier. And there is one lower here. I'll have to double check which one it is, but I wouldn't be surprised if I did stick one around this 3 area as well. But I'll come to that when we get nearer to it, if we indeed come down to these areas, because I don't want to go too mad and throw in too many things in your minds right now. But let's look at the indicators, guys, and this proves my point. The strength of Veracity at the moment. Really nice buy-in after this big drop down here between the 6th of April, I think, 7th of April, leading up until the 16th of May. So it lasted a long time. But now we're having this buy-in, and it's very gradual. It's very smooth. But look at this on the MACD. We had a bit of a bounce off here on the 3rd of July, and it's looking like it's widening, but only really small area there to look at. This is where I feel like we'll get some stabilization over the next few days, and this is where it might just feel like it wants to pin itself under and switch over into maybe a potential small minor sell-off, but enough for us to bring us down to one of those areas, at least in my opinion. The RSIs as well, 32 on a 14 day is extremely low, and so is the 28 day at 34. So again, these are really good DCA opportunities to consider for maybe some quick flips. For me, I'm a long-term holder of Veracity. I don't really sell Veracity at all. Like I said, I'm staking most of it. I'm just here to accumulate. And whether that's at this price, at lower prices, or slightly higher, in my opinion, anything under 5 cents of Veracity is an absolute steal compared to where it will be in the future. Do let us know what you think about that. Of course, we had the tokenomics conversation recently as well about how that's operating, but you've got to remember like the burn mechanisms and things like this. I actually think Veracity is doing a really good job of protecting itself in a bear market, but also for the longevity. Okay, I believe in these projects for the longevity aspect as well. And I hope you guys do have some of that in your back of your minds. Of course, some people are here to just money grab or like take advantage of situations, and that's fine too. But I think that this one would be a real shame if people didn't think about the longer term plans for Veracity. And finally, before we wrap this video up, guys, the performance indicators on the right hand side here, 10% down on the week. This has been dropping, I think, since the last video we did. So we just keep an eye out for that, because these patterns are very important. But look at this, the 6 months is really intriguing. If we have that conversation about November earlier, and indeed on the year to date as well, these are coming down very slowly. And like I said, it's going to be a while, I think, before we see big turnarounds. But it is nice and promising to see some development, albeit that it's extremely slow and gradual. So that's where we are with it, really. There are positives and things to look out for with this project and its price point right now. Do let us know in the comments below what you think about Veracity at this stage in time, what you think about the prices, what have you been doing, have you been buying, are you selling, are you waiting? Intrigued to know. Everyone's opinion matters, because that's how we work together, right? We're all a team at the end of the day. We want to help each other have gains and make sure we're strategic in the way we do stuff. So do leave those comments below. Really appreciate them. But guys, that very much wraps up our Veracity video here today. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be looking at some other projects later tonight and tomorrow morning as well. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.